Hello and welcome to today's interview. I'm honoured to have Chris Brown from Financial Design for Life with us today. Welcome, Chris.
G'day, Rose. How are you?
Good, good. Chris, please tell us, how long have you had your own business for and what do you specialise in?
We set up the business about 5 years ago. I was working with the National Australia Bank at the time and needed to get some financial advice myself. Had a couple of client meetings which were pretty disappointing, and as a consequence I just thought there were a lot of people who looked like myself who needed help. So as a consequence I set up a financial planning business that specialises in advice for Gen Xers and Ys.
Great niche, love the story. Chris, tell me, what awards have you won?
I was lucky enough in 2007 to win the Association of Financial Advisors Rising Star of the Year award, which is given to the best up and comers. So it was very pleasing and good recognition.
Fantastic, congratulations, well done. What do you think makes your business so successful, Chris?
I think our success, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, has got to do with the fact that I've built great processes within the business, and I've also attracted great staff members into the business. We've got a young, well-qualified, energetic team that really delivers on the client value proposition that we promote to our clients.
Fantastic. What would be your 5 business improvement tips if you could offer any to a business owner now? What would they be?
I actually was thinking about this, and I think the key thing would be at day one is to sit down with someone, because I had all of these ideas, and I actually engaged a business coach like yourself, and I said I literally just sat down with them just to validate the direction that I was taking, and validate the financial targets that I'd set, and validate my decision to focus on Gen Xers and Ys. And although they agreed with a lot of stuff, they actually challenged me on a number of issues, and I think that it made the business plan for Financial Design for Life a little bit more robust, and they brought up issues that I hadn't simply thought about. So just make sure that you have someone in your corner that challenges you and that you can work with, and you've got a good open working relationship. So that would be number one. The next thing is, and this was something that I suggested to a young advisor peer group just recently, is always put your clients first. Always. Because I think it's really easy in small business to worry about your financial objectives and sometimes compromise on that. And I just think that if you absolutely never, ever, ever compromise on that, and you always do what is in the best interest from the client, from a product point of view, from an advice point of view, from any point of view, success will come. So that would be number 2. Yep. And there's nothing, number 3, I'd say, there's actually nothing wrong with selling. When I entered the industry, there were a lot of my peers out there, and they just said that I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesman. Don't call me a salesman. I'm a strategic financial advisor. At the end of the day, to make a success in small business, you actually need to generate revenue. And unless you're prepared to do that and get off your backside and make the calls that generate that sort of success, you're not going to have any luck. So don't be afraid to tell people what you do, and don't be afraid to sort of say, could I have some of your time just to sit down and explain what I can do and whether or not my services would be valuable to your situation. So I think that's important also.
Number 4?
Number four, don't overcapitalise. It was interesting. I've got a lot of peers who started out the same time as me, and they went in and they got the best office, and they got the 30-year-old personal assistant. They got the iPhone. They got all of the U-Butte things. My own course was I was actually working out of the front bedroom of my home. I made sure that every fee that was paid I scrutinised, and I got it down to the lowest amount possible. And I think that served me really well, because although it was torturous in the first 6 months, it meant that I had good cash flow. You know, it was probably one of the most profitable times for the business, and it meant that I could actually use that cash flow to grow and keep moving forward. Whereas the other punters who really sort of spent too much, it created sort of financial hardship for them. They were under the pump to make the next sale, and I think that's reflected in, you know, they ended up being a little bit more desperate than I needed to be. So that would be number 4.
And number 5?
Number 5 would be never lose sight of the fact that we're in business to be profitable. At the end of the day, that's my number 1 objective, to make a profit at the end of the day. FDFL certainly isn't a charity. We're a client-centric business that is always looking to put the consumer first, but at the end of the day, we must also make a profit every time that we meet with the client. So, and I think that was born out of the fact that my my business coach actually sat me down and slapped me a couple of times because, as you know, I've got a bit of a philanthropic streak in me, but he just sat me down and said, look, Chris, if this is going to be a success, if this is going to be a long-term sustainable business model, you need to never lose sight of the fact that we're in it to make a profit.
Beautiful. Chris, thank you for sharing today. Really do appreciate it. I appreciate the time and advice that you've shared. That was Chris Brown from award-winning company Financial Design for Life.
Thanks, Rachel.